We're here at Daytona with our first test and initial shakedown with the Lunacy BGB Cayman. We're calling it the GXR. It's very similar to the Cayman R in terms of being lightweight, has a little bit more horsepower than the street car. And we're here just shaking it down, going through all the initial out lap, in laps, making sure the temperatures are fine, suspension, everything like that. And so far it's going pretty well. You know, it's just it's going to be a work in progress. This car came together in 3 weeks. The guys at BGB have been working all night long for the last 2 weeks trying to get this thing like buttoned up. And here we are, we're turning laps competitive with where we thought we'd be for our first time out on track. So far it's going really well.
Well, I love the Cayman. Cayman's a great platform, and it was a blast. I just did a few laps, and we put Ryan, the crash test dummy, in first, which we like to do, and he did a fantastic job, and the car was great. You know, like Ryan said, they built it in a very short period of time, so hats off to BGB for being here and getting it done, and it really is great to have a chance to do a few laps before the roar comes.
You know, this is probably one of the best handling cars I've ever driven around the Daytona infield. The banking obviously is very simple and easy to do, but on the infield and the bus stop, the Cayman is one of the lightest cars in the field and has massive tires on it and a lot of downforce. So handling-wise, it's easily one of the best cars I've ever driven, as it should be. And the BGB guys have done a really good job of putting a good setup on it, and I think that shows. You know, they won the GS championship last year, so we're with a team that knows what they're doing.
You know, I raced in the Continental Series back in '08 and '09, and that's kind of when Ryan and I hooked up, and we kind of put together a plan, and it just came together. The timing was right. Since we've been racing the Cayman, that was you know, a natural progression with the new class, and with them coming out with the ability for the Cayman to run. We were looking at some other options as well, and with Lunacy clothing, with Lunacy looking to really get out in the spotlight this year. It's a great opportunity for us to do that, and you know, the 24, it's nothing like the 24, and to be able to sponsor a car, I'm excited from a driver standpoint, but I'm also really excited from a sponsorship standpoint, and with everything that's going on with Grand-Am these days, it's going to be a great race, and hopefully a lot of great exposure for Lunacy.
Our Cayman GXR that BGB has built for us has a lot of really cool features that you wouldn't find in your street Cayman. For example, it's got the X51 911 engine that's been used in the last couple of years in the Rum Bum Porsche and the BGB Porsches, and they were obviously very successful, finishing 1-2 in the championship last year. So with the power plant, we have a bit more power than the street car that it comes with, but also great reliability and great track records. So that's a big thing. We also have GT3 suspension pieces on the car as far as like uprights and control arms, and we have 996 GT3 Cup car brake calipers, so they're massive calipers straight from the factory, so they're very, very cool. So basically what we built is, we've called it the Super Cayman, or you know, the baby cup car, because that's essentially what we have. It still has the stock Cayman 6-speed gearbox in it, so it's a manual non-sequential gearbox. So that's something that a lot of the other cars in the field have as an advantage. But the great part is, if you break one of those gears in a sequential, you've got to go change the gearbox. If we break a gear, we can skip it and just go right on the third, fourth, and that's a big thing with a reliable long race like the 24-hour. Also, we have a lot more aerodynamics. We have a very nice front splitter. It's full carbon. We have a carbon rear deck lid and carbon rear wing, as well as RSR rear fender flares that you'd see on like an ALMS Flying Lizard car. So overall, the car is quite aggressive for a Cayman, and we're actually using the same size tires that the Mazda GT team used last year throughout the series on our car. So huge tires, awesome suspension that's proven in the Porsche GT3 Cup cars, as well as the engine that won the championship in GS last year in the Continental Series. So all in all, the car's got quite a bit of changes done to it to fit into the GX class.
The implementation of the GX class, and with the Cayman being involved, it's great, because our clothing company basically is automobile innovated, technology infused, and racing inspired. So we really try to infuse technology into our clothing. And one of the technologies that we're going to actually be utilizing in the car is called inner gear, which it's slightly complicated to describe, but the bottom line is it's an energy recovery system for your body. So there's a mineral matrix that we put in the material in the clothing that basically reflects energy back in your body, that results in a higher oxygen rate in your body. So it increases concentration, reduces fatigue, and it's really fantastic. And we're incorporating some of those things in the car, as well as in our suits. And we just made a deal with partnership with Cool Shirt to create a Cool Shirt by Lunacy that has coal black, which is basically a shirt that's the same temperature as white when you're in the sun, as well as inner gear. So we'll of course be wearing those, as well as incorporating the technology possibly into some other parts of the material in the car. So it really is a great fit for us as we're trying to promote our brand Lunacy.